Hello and welcome to the first ever Wellbeing Weekly with me, Emma from Drum and Bounce. This is something I've wanted to do for ages. I've had it in my head for a while, but I thought January was a good time of year to bring this. So just to give you a little context, I wanted to bring something free each week that I could drop a new video with different techniques that you could try like right now here as I go through the video, but also you could use throughout your week if it's something that resonates with you. Because I find for me well-being is almost like a patchwork quilt, and I take little bits from different influences and then things become part of my day-to-day routine. So what I want to share each week is a different technique, something that I use. I'm only going to share stuff that like I've properly used, I've had an embodied experience of, so it might not always be related to drum and bounce and yoga that I teach anyway, but something personally that works for me, and if it works for you, brilliant. But also I'm not sort of sitting here as an expert, I'm only an expert in what has worked for me, so there might be things that I do and you have more ideas and more experience. So please, like anything that I'm showing, if you've got other ways of doing it, other things that you think is useful for people to know, just like drop it in the comments and share it. As I said, I'm not sitting here as an expert. You're the expert in you and your own well-being. So so this week I thought it'd be a useful place, because for me I think where it all stems from is being able to come back to myself and to stillness. And if you're watching this kind of as it's coming out, the world's probably about to kick off again tomorrow, because it is the start of January, and some people have been working the whole time, but some people will have had a break, so it might be just kind of a little bit of chaos next week as everything restarts. So I wanted to offer a little technique to pause, and you can do this with me now on the video, or maybe it's something that you want to do first thing in the morning, at some point throughout your day, or at the end of the day. This technique that I'm going to share is something that I use loads if I wake up in the night to try and stop my head from going into overdrive, and it really helps me go back to sleep. Like since I've been doing this, I don't get that sort of getting into a stressful state at night. I just do this technique and then I go back to sleep. So I find it really, really valuable in that respect. But see how it goes for you. So it's meditation technique, just break down into 4 little sections. Each section is going to last 1 minute. So obviously make sure you're not driving, not that you should be looking at the videos while you're driving anyway, but you need like a little bit of space to be able to practice this. I've got my little singing bowl here, so beautiful sound. So what I'd like to do is there's 4 parts to the technique. I'm going to share what it is, and then I'm just going to give you a minute to practice that technique. You'll know when we're starting and finishing because you'll hear the chime of the bowl, and then I'll tell you what the next one is. So it's going to last just around 5 minutes. So make yourself comfortable. I always love I've got my incense on my little yoga altar there. I always love that, just really helps me access a peaceful state. And I would say a real key with this is making sure you're comfortable. So you might want to be in a chair, might want to put your back up against the sofa, sit on a cushion, whatever sitting comfortably means to you, because if you're not comfortable, you'll spend the whole time just going like, oh, I'm not actually feeling very comfortable. So sit comfortably. You don't have to sit in like legs crossed and any sort of yoga position. So please make yourself comfortable. You can take this practice with your eyes open or closed, so whatever feels of most benefit to you, whatever is most available for you today. And just take a moment to come into the body. So we're trying to come out of the head and into the body, and a way that helps with that is bring your attention to your breath. So no matter what's been going on already today, can you try and bring as much awareness as you breathe in, as you inhale. And whenever your out breath is ready, just let that breath leave the body. And let's go again. In your own time, with your own pace, take the breath in, notice how the body expands. And when you're ready, just let all that breath out. So this first technique, you'll hear the chime of the bowl in a moment, is to count your exhale. So over the next minute, you'll breathe in as normal and you'll breathe out as normal at whatever pace suits. And on each exhale, each out breath, you'll count. So on the first one, breath in, breath out, you'll silently say the number 1. Next breath in, next breath out, then you'll say 2. Breath in, breath out, so on and so forth. Go all the way up to 10. If you get to 10 in that minute, just bring yourself back to 1. And if your mind wanders, you start thinking about what you're having for your dinner or breakfast or whatever, it's okay. Just bring it back to the beginning and count from 1 again. So let's go for our first minute, counting the exhale. Just noting for yourself if that felt long or short, if your mind was distracted or stayed on the breath, and there's no judgment. So let's move to the second part. For this next minute, you're going to count the in-breath. So same thing this time, but when you breathe in, you'll say 1. When you breathe out, nothing. Breathe in silently, say 2, breath out, nothing. Same thing, up to 10 if you make it, bring yourself back to the beginning, and if your mind wanders, just start again. 1 minute counting the inhale. Again, just take a moment to check in. Did that feel long, short, different to the first one, or the same? For this third one, you're going to pick an area of the body that changes in some way when you breathe. So it might be your chest, the way it rises and falls, or the belly. It might be the bit of breath you can feel on the upper lip as the breath comes out. So you decide somewhere that you feel a shift when you breathe in and out. And for the next minute, see if you can focus as much, just rest as much awareness on that area. And then for this fourth and final stage, in the next minute, you can either count the the out breath, you can count the in breath, you can focus on the body part, or you can just sit for the next minute, inviting a bit of space, a bit of stillness for your week ahead. Okay, so again, just taking that moment, noticing if anything feels different, having those moments of pause. If there were any of the techniques you found easier to focus the mind, which ones took a bit longer. So the invitation is to try this practice every day at a time that suits. Maybe first thing in the morning, it might be midway, it might be the end of the day, and just see if anything feels differently for you. Obviously, I would love to know how you found it, and if anything comes up, any learning, any experiences, please share them. And the way I use it at night, so if I'm using it in the day, I've got my little watch here and I just track the time. Obviously you can do it along with the video, so you don't have to worry about that. But if I'm doing it at night, I just count the out breath up to 10 and come back until I go back to sleep. So that's how I use it at night. I don't bother timing it. And maybe if it works for you, you can elongate from a minute, make it then a minute and a half each section, 2 minutes, so on and so forth. Anyway, I hope that has been helpful. I'd love to know your experiences. Please share, and I'll have another Wellbeing Weekly for you next week with something completely different. All right, stay well. Bye.